Hey everybody, welcome to week 20. I'm a little late this week. I was kind of out and about all weekend, so just barely getting to this now. Okay, so first up, we've got another one of the No Face collabs. So I took He-Man and Tila, trying to recreate the end of Problem with Power episode where He-Man's carrying her off into the sunset. They're having a weird little argument about why he doesn't want to put her down. So, yeah, I just actually took the background from that episode and then put them in front of it and have him carrying her. It's a little stiffer because you can't get quite the same motion. So, like in the show, it looks like she's kind of hugging him back a little bit. But all in all, pretty happy with that shot. Yeah, still having the issue where this side's a little bit dark because of the shelf and the lighting, and that's going to persist for a little while. But all in all, I like that shot. Problem with Power is one of my favorite episodes of the old Filmation, and it's just a fun scene, and it was a nice thing to recreate. And then next, we've got another face obscure shot. She took Griffith. I'm kind of looking at his hand because there's a scene in the anime and the manga where he's kind of like looking at himself transformed and kind of marveling in his own power, I guess. This one's kind of weird because like you can see there's a shelf above him. Now on that shelf there's like a thing up here that kind of looks like sky, so you don't see like the shelf brackets in the bottom of the shelf when I'm using that shelf for a lower angle shot, but that's how it turned out in that one. All in all, kind of a cool shot. Like I said, just another one of those facial obscure ones, and I kind of pulled it from the anime and manga. I'll have a slightly different version of that shot coming up. Some of the shots where you see their face obscured, there are alternate shots where their face isn't obscured, but I was just going with the Toymercs theme. And then up next, this is the sorceress Evil Lyn. She's put in the sorceress chambers from the Masters of the Universe Revelation cartoon. Nothing too fancy. I really like this version of Lyn. Like as soon as I saw that in the cartoon, I was like, man, I want that as a toy, like right now. So got it. Took a picture of it. I take a few more pictures with her because I really do like that toy and the look of it. Yeah, not really a whole lot to this shot. It's a little unfortunate this cape is so thin that you kind of see all the way through it, but what can you do? Up next, this is actually an older shot, but Toymercs was having a wrestling collab, so you'll see a bunch of wrestling pictures, even though I'm not a big... actually, I'm not a wrestling guy at all. Like, I've watched it off and on here and there, but... So, the idea was kind of a tag team between the old and the new versions of He-Man, and then I put Jay and Stinkor here, just kind of a nod to the Revelations, because Jason Mewes voiced Stinkor in that. The background on this one's actually kind of interesting. I'm not sure that I've shown it off. I mean, you see it a couple times, but I actually painted this. I'm not very good at artistry, but took a stab at it. Blended some purples and blues for the background. Flicked some paint and some glitter into it to kind of give it like that starry look. And then just did a couple of like planets or moons, in the background, and then a little bit of cloud. I actually really like how it turned out, even though, like I said, I'm not very artistic, and I really don't paint ever. But it was fun to do, and I like how it came out, especially like the sparkles in the backgrounds and stuff. But for the shot, I just took like the CGI versions of He-Man and Skeletor, put in the back like they're waiting to be tagged in, and then I put the Origins, Skeletor, and He-Man here, and then the suit of armor from the Gray Skull pack is kind of like the ref, and they're in the Gray Skull WWE crossover ring. So yeah, that's that shot. And then got another picture of Femtos, another one where Instagram added a white border after a while for no apparent reason. This is a much older toy. It's a little beat up and scuffed, has almost no articulation, but that was really, I mean, there wasn't a lot of options for Berserk toys back in the day. I just took a shot of Femto. I had the Berserk toys out because I was doing some other stuff, and just took another shot with him. Up next, another Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover. I want these toys to be better. I think the idea of crossing over is super cool, but I've only got the two. The one I showed before, the Megatron Hiss Tank, and then this one. So I don't know. The Soundwave one looks better, but I'm kind of like, I don't want to get fooled again. They're pricey figures, and the quality on them just doesn't seem to be there, at least on the first two. Maybe they'll get better. I've heard some people say the Soundwave one is better, so maybe I'll pick him up when he gets a little bit cheaper. But yeah, so I just took the toy, took an old shot from the cartoon, got the arc in the background, and thought they worked pretty well together. It's actually lit up better than a lot of the ones I'd been using the screen with before, so that's cool. You can still see a little bit of the darkness on this side, the shadow here, and shadow over here, but all in all, not too bad. And then up next, another wrestling shot. Most of my wrestling, all my wrestling shots are going to be Masters of the Universe, but these ones are actually the WWE crossover ones. So I took the Andre the Giant. I actually gave him the 2000X He-Man shield, and I think I gave him like the 2000X axe. But you can't see it in the shot. And the idea is him kind of just like, choking somebody over the ring with the shield, and you can see the stand in the background, try to get it where I wanted it to balance, but all in all, fun shot. Those are really cool toys. They're just kind of like extra Eternians in my collection, because like I said, I'm not a big wrestling guy. Then up next, you got Aerther and his horse. Just really cool figures. I love this horse and I love this figure. It's a pretty basic shot again. It's just that space tapestry I have in the background, like nothing else. But it's cool. I really like this figure. I like how the shot came out. I really like the flame effects on him and on his sword. And that horse is just like wicked cool. Like, it's freaking awesome. Yeah, that's that shot. And then up next, you got another wrestling shot. Behind him is like a concept art for Grayskull. Just kind of, I didn't know what to put, but it works alright for the shot. I probably should have just set him up in the ring, but I opted to go with the screen instead. You got the Faker John Cena and the Trapjaw Stone Cold. I don't know. Thought it was pretty cool. The posing works pretty good on them, and they're fun toys. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan and a Motu fan, awesome. If you're just a Motu fan, you get cool new figures that could kind of be whatever you want them to be. But this was another one of the wrestling Toymercs collabs, so you'll see a few more of those coming up. And then it's Rock and Mankind. Mankind's actually not one of the Masters of the Universe ones. He's just one of the Superstar ones, but it's on the same buck, and it's a cool fig, so I picked him up. It was one of the only normal wrestlers I wanted to pick up. I have a couple of them, but that was the one I was like, yeah, I want to get him. He looks good. So, then got Rock doing the rock bottom. I don't know. The background's pretty basic, but it's one of the arenas. Shows up in one of the episodes of Filmation. He-Man gets thrown into the arena or whatever, so I just used that shot. Up next, this is like probably the best out of the wrestling shots I did, and I can't take credit for it at all because I was going to do something with Jake the Snake, and my roommate was like, well, why don't you do that shot where he has Macho Man tied up and bit by the snake? I'm like, what? And he's like, no, it's like a super iconic shot. So I like looked it up and kind of tried to recreate it with the Masters versions of the characters. So you got Jake the Snake as a Snake Man, you got the Horde version of Macho Man, and I tried my best to get like a scene from that actual match. So he's like wrapped up in the ropes, Snake's biting him, and then in the back, I just kind of set this up in front of a shelf so it looked like there was like a crowd out in the background watching. All in all, it's a really cool shot. I'm glad my roommate told me about that scene because I wouldn't have thought of that, and I think it makes the shot a lot better to actually be referencing a pretty iconic moment in wrestling. So it's cool. Thank you, Steve. Up next, got The Undertaker, who's one of my favorite of the WWE crossover. He's got the whole scare glow gimmick. His armor looks really rad. Like his whole face sculpt is really cool. Just all in all, like a really cool figure. So he's set up with another Filmation background. It's part of the interior of Grayskull that you see sometimes. Just like these little pillars with different, like, I guess the elders' faces. Never really quite explained in Filmation. But I don't know. I just thought it was kind of a cool shot. There's some black light on him, just kind of making him glow a little bit bluer. Maybe I should have used a different background because it kind of blends in. But then again, I like how it looks. So there's that shot. All right. That's going to lead us to the final shot of the week. Marrow from the old Toybiz. Now, this is a Marvel Legends that I would love to see a new version of. I would want her in her more traditional look, kind of like how she looked during Operation Zero Tolerance or Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But, like, honestly, I would just be happy to have a Marrow in a newer version. I really like that character. I mean, not one of the more popular X-Men's, but I just thought she was really cool. Her power's kind of weird, pulling bones out to use as weapons and stuff. And I just took a old shot from an old comic. Like you can see, it's like super grainy and whatnot. But I think it works for the shot. It's just a picture of like the Morlock tunnels from an older X-Men issue, and then just kind of put her in front of it. There's like a little piece right, or a little hole right here where you can plug the bone in, so I made it look like she's like pulling the bone out to use as a weapon. Again, just a really cool character that I hope we get a modern day figure for. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but we'll see. You never know what Marvel Legends is going to do. They throw oddball stuff out sometimes, so fingers crossed for Marrow. And that is it for this week. Cool set of shots. Wrestling stuff's a little bit out of my wheelhouse. Again, sorry for the delay. I had a pretty busy weekend. I was going out and actually doing stuff in real life instead of sitting in front of my computer like I usually do. So it was kind of nice, but also threw me off schedule. Yeah, you guys can check me out every day on Instagram, and every weekend on YouTube. I will try not to miss any, and try not to have more delays. Maybe if I know I'm going out, I'll make the time to actually shoot in advance. No promises, but I will stay consistent. You'll get a video a week and pictures daily, for sure. Alright, you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.